Hey guys, it's SJ. Welcome back to Sweden. Welcome to Baby Name Monday, a new baby name video on my channel every single Monday about baby names. And I've been doing this for nearly a year now. I started doing loads of baby name videos and then I kind of became Channel Mum's baby name expert. So I kind of made it into a little bit of a job, which is so random. So I thought I would do a bit of a different video because normally I'd obviously do a theme, but I thought I would tell you how I chose my babies' names, including the name that I kind of regret. One of my children's name I actually changed after they were born, so I called them one thing and then changed it, and also how Evelina isn't actually my first baby Evelina. So yeah, there's a few little stories about baby names that I thought you might really enjoy. I would love to hear your baby names in the comments below, your favourite ones, what you've actually called your kids, and if you found it easy, because I think why I got really into baby names was it's really hard, isn't it? And you hear names all the time, and I always loved names, like listening to names on like TV shows and characters. I always wanted to be called like Tiffany after this singer. I always wanted to be called Angel after the character like in Home and Away and stuff. And I always loved names in books and stuff like that. So I think it's always just been something I'm interested in. But then when we get actually pregnant, it's super duper hard to your hormones are all over the place and you can't pick anymore, and you have to agree with this other person who's got their own ideas. Like my favourite baby name for a girl was always Lily, and Henrik just didn't like it, didn't want it, and I was so shocked and actually really sad about it. Like really silly, isn't it? But it was just like the name that I loved, and I had to really think again. So yeah, choosing a baby name is really hard, and I started to make baby name videos on my channel because I loved them. I loved watching baby name videos and all my pregnancies and just in general, and then I started to get loads of like comments and like direct messages asking me, what do you think, we've got a baby called this, what would be a good sibling name, and kind of questions. So I thought actually I'll do it as a little series every single Monday because I have so many lists that I literally just used to write on my phone. And then Channel Mum were like, oh, like you do so much about baby names, and there was like a press interest as well, so I ended up doing like articles for things like Harper's Bazaar, Cosmopolitan. I've done radio interviews about baby names, and it's really something that seems to be really fascinating to loads of people. Like, do you like baby names because you're naming a baby, or are you just here because you love baby names like me? And yes, then I became Channel Mum's baby name expert, and it's just led to so many opportunities. And obviously it's a very crowded market being a baby name expert, as you can imagine, but yeah, I crawled my way to the top of the ladder. But I really like it, it's just good fun, and I just really enjoy it. And Channel Mum actually have a whole Channel Mum support group where they have proper experts on proper parenting things. Baby names obviously isn't one, but I am on there if people do have questions about baby names, or there's lots of baby name threads on there. So if you're great at baby names, go and have a look at the Channel Mum chat group. I'm going to leave the link below, and I'll make sure I'm there a lot over the next week. I'm going to chat to you guys, but there's proper experts there. There's a psychologist to talk about your mental health, there's a dental expert, there's an education expert. So yeah, there's about 12 proper parenting experts on the Channel Mum forum. Do go check it out, and as I said, I shall be hanging out there. I'll leave the link below. So yeah, how I chose my kids' names. So first baby, I didn't know if I was having a boy or a girl, and Henrik is Swedish, my husband, and he always really liked the boy name Frederick. It was like his boy name. His girl name was Josephine, which I think is a really random name, but apparently it's quite popular here in Sweden. If you can hear buzzing, by the way, it's a fly. So he liked Josephine and Frederick, and I didn't really love either. Oh my god, it is not a fly, guys. Oh god, I'm terrified. Look at that. What the hell is that? Okay, I've moved location. I've never seen anything like that in my entire life. It was basically like bigger than my thumb. Must be a hornet or something. The kid's not gonna be allowed back in this house. Evelina's napping. So yes, Henrik loved the name Frederick a lot. I wasn't keen on it, I just couldn't get my head around it. It wasn't one that I'd ever really liked. But I did like the Swedish spelling of it, which was Fredrik, rather than like the English where we do the Erick at the end. So that makes it a little bit more trendy. And I liked the fact that the ending was like Henrik and Frederick, that they kind of matched. But I was really obsessed with the name Oscar, which is quite an unusual name back then, because Freddie's 8, so he was born in 2010. And it was one of those names that people were like, oh, it's a bit like a dog's name, or people weren't mad on it, but I loved the nickname Ossie, and I just was so sold on Oscar to the point where like it was like 100% going to be his name. He was born and we called him Oscar, and I just was like, great, you know, like was my favourite name, and I knew I'd be able to convince Henrik on my favourite name as soon as the baby came out. If he'd been a girl, he would have been called Tilda, which we really liked, which was a Swedish name. And yeah, so he was Oscar, which was so funny. And then I was literally holding him and I was talking to the baby, and we hadn't yet sent a text out saying like the baby's name or anything, and I just literally called him Freddie. Like, it's the weirdest thing, but I was like, did something and I was like, oh, Freddie, and I was like, God, that's really weird. I just called him Freddie, like, and then we were like, oh, okay, great, he's gonna be Freddie. So yeah, he was Oscar for maybe like an hour or something, and then he's just always been Freddie. And looking at him now, I can't imagine him being an Oscar. And he's actually been the only Freddie in his year group in both his different schools, but there are lots of Oscars. So maybe I made the right choice, because that name seemed to have become really popular. And then when we had Finn, we did find out that we were going to have a boy, because I wanted to find out what I was having, because I thought it would help Freddie to understand if he was having a brother or a sister, but he wasn't that bothered. He was 3 and he just was like, oh, it could be a girl. And I always loved the name of Finn. I knew a colleague at work who had a little boy called Finn, and I thought it was too out there for Henrik, so I hadn't even suggested it first time round, because Henrik likes very traditional and I like very unique, because I'm Sarah Jane. My nickname is SJ. Lots of people call me SJ in real life, and it's not just something I like use for YouTube. But I was Sarah Jane because there were so many Sarahs, and I always liked the idea of a more unique name. I thought that anything too old-fashioned could make Freddie sound old-fashioned. So we chose the name Finn. Henrik randomly really liked it. We chose the middle name Boo, it's spelled B-O, which is Henrik's dad's name, because Freddie's middle name is David, which is a family name on my side, very important family member. My cousin is called David, and we wanted to make sure his name was in there somewhere. And yeah, so we had Boo. So we can't have Finn Boo. Sounds like Subo, just sounds like 2 one-syllables together. So after he was born, we were walking through the hospital, and I just said, he's gonna be Finn Barnaby Boo, because I loved the name Barnaby, and I couldn't have it as a first name because it would be like Fred and Barney sort of thing, I thought. So yeah, he became Finn Barnaby Boo, which I loved, and Henrik thought was ridiculous. I don't think he liked the name Barnaby. This is the name that I kind of regret, because since we chose it, it became super duper popular. There was literally 2 other girls at my work who had babies at the same time, and they had Finns. One had a Finn bar, one other one had a Finn, and then it became a Star Wars name, and it's just really popular. You hear it a lot, and I don't feel like it's special. And I would like him to have maybe a little bit more of a daring name, maybe, because he's got a very outgoing personality, and that's the thing with him. I think children he could carry a character name because he's quite flamboyant, and as you know, if you follow me, he has a speech delay and he finds it very hard to say Finn. Whereas the other name we liked for him was Hugo, which is very popular here in Sweden but not so popular at home, and it's almost like a kind of out there a little bit, like it's a bit of a hipster name, but it's more popular now. But back then, because he's nearly 5, it wasn't popular at all. Whereas he can say Hugo much easier, and he really can't say Finn, he can't say the F. So people never get what his name is. He goes Gin, and it's just hard. So I kind of regret his name. I love it, it suits him, but I think he could have carried off a Hugo or a Rory, or even like an Oakley. Like, he's quite that type of outgoing type of character that could pull something bigger off. And then before Finn, I was pregnant and we had a miscarriage. That baby, actually, between the boys, I was convinced was a baby girl. I could only think of the baby as a girl. And obviously I used to talk to the baby a lot, because I don't know if you do that or if you've had a baby. And I always called the baby Evelina. I loved the name. It was Henrik's cousin's girlfriend's name here in Sweden. I just fell in love with it as soon as I heard it. Thought it was beautiful. I like long names for girls. I love L sounds, like I like Lily. And so I had this baby called Evelina, and when I lost the baby, I never called the baby Evelina going on from that, but I did used to talk to my self and the little kind of, you know, growing baby in my tummy and call it Evelina. But obviously I never found out whether that was a boy or a girl. The baby's heartbeat stopped growing at around 6 weeks. Did have a heartbeat because we'd seen it, stopped. So it was very, very early, but it was a miscarriage, so we didn't find out until weeks later. So I'm talking about it quite easily now, but it was very tough. But I didn't feel strange to use that name again. When we were pregnant a 3rd time, we still loved the name Evelina. Finn would have been an Evelina had he had been a girl, and we just stuck with it all those years. We never wavered from it, which is funny how much I love baby names and how much I researched them, and I'd never heard anyone else use it, so I just thought it's really unique and it's really pretty, and I just still loved it really passionately, maybe even more because of that sort of baby that never was born. And then she was born and she was an Evelina, and had she have been a boy, she probably would have been either Hugo, or we liked Albie. We liked Casper as well a lot. So yeah, she's Evelina. And then for middle names, I quite liked the name Marlowe, but I didn't know if Evelina Marlowe sounded quite right. And I'd always loved the name Blossom. And actually my sister, who might be creeping around behind me, someone's creeping around behind me, loved the name Blossom as well, and was like, you'll never regret it if you use it. And again, Henrik wasn't keen on Blossom. I absolutely love it, and Evelina Blossom to me is the most beautiful name. So yeah, that is how I chose my baby's name and how I became a baby name expert. I thought I might do next time a kind of baby name dilemma Q&A, because I get lots of messages. So if you have a baby name dilemma question, you've got a sibling, you're having twins, you just don't know what name goes with your surname, whatever, pop them all below and I'll do like a bit of a quick fire baby name Q&A / baby name dilemma video soon as well. Bye guys, I think the baby has woken up and I'm gonna have to evacuate the house because I think we are being attacked by a prehistoric wasp. We're still here in Sweden for another week. There will be day in the life later on in the week as well, so you can see more of this beautiful country. And thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to head over to Channel Mum support group, ask any questions, give some advice, chat baby names with me, and hopefully I'll see you there. Bye everyone.